Hello Internet, and welcome to my review for Eden Zero, Chapter 196. This is not a live reaction, because I filmed a live reaction, and then my computer didn't, save the live reaction, so I don't actually know what happened there. But, I had a video, and now I don't, and I still want to talk about 196, I still want that on my channel, I don't want to just have that be a gap chapter I never covered when 197 comes out, sometime even today, even. There's a whole thing with 197 going on, too, right now, where it was apparently on Manga Dex at one point, and now it's not, and I don't know where to find it, so that's another question for another time. But 196, I'm going to at least go through it and review it and give my thoughts. I'm not going to do a live reading because I've already read it. I'm not going to, it won't be a blind reaction because I know what happens in the chapter. I know that Hermit and Homura and seemingly Sister all lose and that the shining stars, or that the dark stars are after Etherion. I know all that already. So I've read the chapter, But yeah, so let's just dive into this chapter scene by scene. And I'll do my best. It'll sort of be more like the last bit of a video, the bit where I'm sort of going back and looking at the chapter now that it's finished, more so than the sort of blind read through. But let's just look at it scene by scene. Because our first scene is a bit of one more twist. Hermit and Killer's fight was already very kind of them each one-upping each other. The Sorcerer Weekly translation refers to it as out-cheating in the little previously blurb. And Killer ends up out-cheating her too. As Killer blows himself up and infects her, which is a very interesting thing. Especially as I missed this on my initial, fucked up video. Killer specifically says, let's call this a draw, when he blows himself up to infect Hermit. Which is weird, because it sure seems to be a win. And later on, Clownshaw implies that's a win in his line to Sister. Witch is already no more, Hermit was contaminated by Killer, even Homura is dead, which again, I don't think that, I haven't said again yet, but as I'll get to, I don't think that's true in the last part. Clown seems to put what's happening with Hermit right now as Killer's win, as the Dark Star's win. Even though Killer himself seems, directly calls it a draw. So, I don't know. There's a lot of mystery going. There are not a lot of mystery, but there still is some question as to what exactly is going on there. Because it seems like he's trying to, he has the line, I'm going to destroy your heart, is his last line to Hermit in this chapter, which seems to tie into what happened in the simulation where Killer won, of him I'm going to corrupt you and darken your heart, or whatever the line was. But then there's still just that it's a draw line that I'm not quite sure how we're meant to read, because it sure doesn't feel like a draw. Either way, we'll have to wait until next time. Next chapter being titled Self-Confidence. I mentioned this in my now non-existent video, but the only potential reading I have of that off the top of my head right now is it'll end up tying in with Hermit and Killer have some sort of mind battle as he's trying to. So I sort of have the image of Terra and Xehanort in the end of Birth by Sleep, where they're both sort of in each other's heads, fighting for control of the body or something like that. Or the end of the Sakura Ino fight in the Chunin exam, that sort of thing of an inner battle. And Hermit's self-confidence or something ends up helping her shine through. I don't know. That remains to be seen. Anyway, the next scene is really the only, hopeful bit of the whole chapter, if I'm being honest. The one bit that's not and now our guys are fucked, is, as the subdimension or subspace in this translation, as it's, collapsing, thanks to whatever is going on with Killer, as Pino kind of implies earlier, that, the maybe by Killer's body being destroyed, it's fucking up subspace a little bit. But anyway, things are being destroyed. I do think my one issue with this is it's similar to my problems with the Urza Misaki fight in 100 Years Quest, in that what exactly is going on in subspace is so vaguely defined. It's a little hard for the stakes to really manifest. What happens if they fail? I guess they're deleted or something. That's never really made clear. But it mostly works. We have this really cool, Shiki using his gravity to rip Rebecca out of the Nightmare Mist. My complaints about that, though, is that, like I said, when she first got put in the Nightmare Mist, I wanted to see her nightmare. I wanted to, like, I felt like there was an avenue for character exploration there, especially because Rebecca is the character with, beyond Shiki, like, she's the one with the most mysterious past. There's still something about Rebecca that I feel like is going to be important later, both with Cat Leaper, with what Sister said way back when, or maybe it was Witch, about her being, like, a perfect Etherion user, with the fact that her last name is her planet, much like Shiki's is. There's that, like, the Nightmare Mist could have been a good opportunity to maybe explore some of that, or just have some really, like, creepy, cool visuals. And I'm a little disappointed we don't get that. I think we might still end up seeing a Nightmare Mist world. I'll talk more about that when we get to the Clown Sister fight, because I do think that's what's going on there in the end. But I'm still a little disappointed. But then we get back to the real world, and Homura's fucked. You know, as I mentioned earlier, both Clown and Brigandine here imply that Homura is dead. I don't think that's true. I do not believe that Homura has fallen here for a number of reasons. One, you know, Mashima, he's been a lot more kill-happy in Eden Zero than he has been in the past. Right? Like, Fairy Tail especially was somewhat infamous for not killing people off. But, like, and while Eden Zero has been, it doesn't kill people off, like, so blasely. You know, even if Mashima was going to kill one of his main 4 characters, he wouldn't do it off-screen. She would not die off-screen. That is not happening to Homura Kogetsu. That's not the way the story is set up. But we don't really have a lot of that. It's just sort of, yeah, Homura's out, and I don't know how that's going to end up resolving itself. I don't know. We'll have to sort of wait and see next time. But then we have the Sister Clown stuff. And I still have a little bit of confusion here. I noted in my live reaction, Sister's line on page 15, try saying stuff that makes sense, when Clown is going on about death for machines. Like, two of her best friends are dead robots. It doesn't quite make sense that she doesn't understand death for machines. But whatever. The fight itself, there's a lot of fun choreography there with the whip. It's nice to see Sister has something to do that's not so kinky. Like, even the whip would normally be seen as, like, part of her BDSM shtick. But, like, it's just, like, there's just some fun choreography with it. The way that, like, she lets herself get punched and uses that to, like, or I don't know if she lets herself do it or she takes the opportunity to, like, wrap the whip around Clown's hand and uses that to throw him across the room. That's just cool. That's just really cool. But then, yeah, then the Beast shows up out of nowhere, as Clown is taunting her, and I think she's in the Nightmare Mist. I think the sudden magical appearance of a horned, 4-eyed lion thing is not really, like, it could be a new clown power we haven't seen to, like, summon these sorts of circus beasts. Like, you know, he calls it a wild beast show, which calls to mind, like, a lion tamer or something to that effect. But I don't think that's what's going on here. My best bet, especially because this is right after he turns into the Nightmare Clown form, I think it's a nightmare. I think she's caught in the mist, and somehow she'll have to get out. I'm not quite sure how that will happen, as Rebecca can only do it by someone, like, physically pulling her out. Maybe Labilia and or Couchpo help out? I don't know. Because, like, especially because if Clown is still in the room, that could get really dangerous really fast. But anyway, that all leads to the chapter's big reveal, which is, of course, Etherion. And that's what Ziggy's after, which, like, honestly, in retrospect, I should have seen that one coming. You know, Etherion, if anyone would, like, know about Etherion and be into it, it would be Ziggy, who was on the Eden Zero for a long time. And so I should have assumed that, like, once it was clear the Dark Stars were going after the Shining Stars in particular, that Etherion was somehow in play. But we still don't know what Etherion is. You know, we don't know how important it's going to be to the series lore. I think it's going to be somewhere, you know, less important than Raid Master Etherion, where it's the be-all, end-all. It is the power that everyone is after. But more important than Fairy Tail, Etherion is a big old cannon. I don't know what it's going to be, though. I hope it's I hope it's, like, I feel like both Rave Master and Fairy Tail, it's just a giant mass of magic. You know, it's edited somewhat for their various settings and its role in the plot. I'm hoping it's something a little more unique. I'm hoping it's not just a bunch of ether or something. But I really have no idea what it could be. I don't know. I'm excited to find out, though. I'm excited to see how all of the... Like, I don't think the Shining Stars are truly annihilated, as the chapter title suggests. But I'm curious to see how they end up getting out of this. Because for now, I really have no idea. And that's really exciting. And I can't wait for 197 to drop whenever the fuck is going to come back on Manga Dex. I have no idea what's going on there. So we'll just have to wait and see. So with that said, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you'll enjoy the chapter and the video itself, even if it was a little weird. And if not, or if you did, sorry, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, you know, do whatever makes you happy, you know? And as always, your life is your own, okay? Bye!